Hello guys, Furball the Hammy, your friendly neighborhood hamster is back again for another Hypixel Skyblock video. Today's video will be about the pets once again, but this time I've got a lot more things clarified and confirmed so that I can finally give relatively accurate info that's not just hearsay. So here's some secrets I will be leaking today. The first question will be how to properly level up your pet as quickly as possible and how to maximize the XP your pet will get. Question number 2, that I will fully revisit the list of pets which are out and how to actually get them. And the last point of today that I will be covering would be my opinion on what you should do for the next few weeks in order to maximize your progress in Hypixel Skyblock. And with that, let's start on with the video. Point number 1. Back to the topic on how to level or to max out your pet as quickly as possible, you need to understand what type of pet your pet is. If your pet is a combat pet, for example like the Enderman, Dragon and Phoenix pets, it gains 100% of your gained combat XP. For example, if you kill a crit ghoul and get 45 combat XP, your combat pet will also gain 45 combat XP. However, if you are chopping pumpkins with a combat pet active instead of a farming pet, your pet will only gain 25% of the XP gain from any other skill outside of the skill it focuses on. For example, if you gain 1000 farming EXP from chopping pumpkins, your combat pet will only gain 250 pet EXP. So now, you may be wondering how to check what type of skill is your pet, right? Just go to the pets menu and hover over your pet, and underneath his name, there should be a line mentioning the pet type. There are many pet types in the game, namely mining pets, fishing pets, farming pets, combat pets, alchemy pets, enchanting pets, and much more. So be sure to check out what type of pet your pet is before considering what you want to do. So what does knowing all of this mean? This means that if you are trying to level up a farming pet like a bee pet, you want to consider to grind pumpkins or sugarcane instead of killing crit ghouls for combat XP. However, that being said, if you want to use combat to level up your pets, it's still relatively easy, although getting it to level 100 will be really hard. Be sure to get a hunter ring, solo or tier 4 bosses at least once, drink combat XP potions, and drink experience potions brewed with the Vikings tier. However, the tried and true method for the absolute best way to level up any pet regardless of its type is through Alchemy XP. Why? Although it is extremely expensive, you can just buy a stack of enchanted fermented ice from the auction and brew potions of weakness, which gives the most alchemy XP for the potion brewed, rivaling enchanted sugarcane, which also gives the same amount of alchemy XP per potion. Furthermore, you can automate the process of alchemy via hoppers, so all you need to do is to collect the potions at the bottom of your chest as they are connected to hoppers. If you need a blueprint or an example of what an automatic brewer does look like, I placed the link in the description. It's because that the process is automated that makes it actually the easiest way to level up your pets without much requirement or input on your side, because it is fully automated, or almost automated fully, right? However, if your pet is a combat pet, I still highly recommend you to use tier 4 revenants or to hire pole spamming slaves, because that's more effective for combat pets. But for all other pets, using alchemy strategy is the best to get your pet up to level 100. If you are leveling a combat pet and need some tips, I covered it in my previous video, link in the description, so feel free to check it out. If you don't have the money to buy 5 stacks of enchanted fermented ice or how many stacks of enchanted fermented ice, you can just do whatever you do in Skyblock, because whatever skill XP you gain will be converted to pet XP anyways. It will just take a much longer time, but honestly, don't worry too much. I will explain why later on in the video on my third point. The second point will be the fully revised list of pets which are out and how to get them. So now I will give you the fully revised list of pets, and I will stop putting this list down because I'm pretty sure I have every single pet in the game written on my script. Please tell me I got it right this time. So first and foremost, there's a bee pet. You can buy it from the house opposite of Maddox. There is a bat pet, which you can get from the mushroom collection. There is a horse pet, which you can get from the leather collection. There is a chicken pet, which you can get from a feather collection. The sheep pet, gotten through the mutton collection. the rabbit pet, which you can get through the rabbit collection obviously, the silverfish pet, which you can get through the cobblestone collection, the wither skeleton pet, which you can get through the coal collection, the blaze pet, which you can get from the blaze rod collection, wolf pet, which you can get through the spruce wood collection, ocelot pet, which you can get through the jungle wood collection, the enderman pet, you can get it from a rare drop from killing 9000 health enderman in the end. The parrot pet is found in the dark auction, and the turtle pet is found in the dark auction as well. The snowman pet can be found from being lucky by opening presents found during the Jerry event. The skeleton horse pet requires you to get 2400 candy points or higher in the spooky event. The magma cube pet is a rare drop from the magma bosses. The dragon pet is a rare drop from dragons. The phoenix pet is a 1 upon 1 million chance for an epic and a 1 upon 10 million chance for a legendary. However, the chance to get a phoenix pet is applied to every single mob, so you can get the phoenix pet from a silverfish or a tier 4 savant. However, the odds are 1 upon 1 million for epic and 1 upon 10 million for legendary respectively. Next up will be the squid pet. Squid pets are rare drops from killing squids, the guardian pet, which is a rare drop from killing guardians obviously, and last but not least, the flying fish pet, which is a rare drop from killing sea emperors. Now moving on to the third point of the day that I would like to cover. My opinion on what you should do for the pets update to maximize your progression. Firstly, it is unsurprising to see how everything in the auction house is overpriced, and if you are a mid-game player or lower, you might find it tough to make use of this update for the most part. Last video, I recommended for you to get a rare enderman pet as it's less than 500,000 coins and it's pretty good. However, if that's still too costly for you, you can consider to just buy a bee pet from the house opposite of Maddox. It is extremely cheap and one of the cheapest pet at the moment, and it is still relatively decent. Also, don't focus too much on leveling your pet right off the bat. If you are a mid-game player, especially if you are a mid-game player, because you don't really need to hunker down and grind skill XP to max out your pet when you will eventually replace or sell your pet. Because eventually the level 100 or max level pet that you want should be a legendary pet of your choice that you enjoy. In fact, every pet mentioned above all has their legendary tiers and their legendary versions as well as their legendary abilities. I will be going through their abilities in depth in the next video and to compare them, so do stay tuned. But as a mid-game player, or in fact, the majority of players, you shouldn't be focused too much on leveling up your pets. Not at the moment, unless you have finalized your pet choice and you believe that you will want to have this pet for a very long time. Now, here's some opinionated pets which I think are pretty good, and I will give a brief explanation as to why they are good. So if you agree or disagree with my opinions, be sure to comment down in the comment section below. First and foremost, I think the bee pet is pretty good because it gives plus 225 strength and plus 350 mana when its ability is maxed out and with other bees nearby, and with literally 25% damage reduction which you can get from the legendary version of the bee. Enderman. Enderman gives a lot of crit damage buffs as well as the buff aspect of the end, and it also allows you to take less damage from mobs in the end, as well as the legendary version of the Enderman pet also increasing summoning eye chance. Next up will be the dragon pet. The dragon pet is just great because it gives an all around stat buff and a lot of good stats. Next up will be the guardian. Why? Because the guardian helps to do extra damage every 3 seconds based on how high your intelligence is. It also gives you extra enchanting XP and also extra mana regeneration on land. However, when you are in water, the extra mana regeneration increases to 100%. And next up, the flying fish. Why? Because the flying fish gives you faster fishing, extra stats when near water, namely defense and strength, and it also buffs diverse armor. And lastly on my list will be the sheep pet. Why? Because the sheep pet gives you mana reduction and gives you a shield or absorption buff after not taking damage for some time. And with that, we have come to the end of the video. I hope you guys have learned quite a bit from this video and to consider liking and subscribing to my channel. We are almost at 1000 subscribers, so yeah, feel free to support me. And with that, this is Furball the Hammy, your beloved hamster who can't stop, won't stop, and will never stop gaming. Signing out.